Captain on the bridge.
Howdy, Captains. We are back here on the bridge, and today, yes, we are going to be on the Lamarr Temporal Science Dreadnought. Yes, Captains, but before we get on with this video, do us a huge favor and hit that like button to help out the overall channel. But also, if you're new here, welcome. Consider subscribing here to the YouTube bridge, where we're always on the lookout for like-minded captains to share our love, passion for Star Trek Online, but also things Star Trek. Now, as I said, here we go. Yes, Captains, as I mentioned, this is the Lamarr Temporal Science Dreadnought, and huge shout out once again to Admiral Mikey, aka DAIMON TARR, for gifting us this ship. In the previous video, you saw us showcase the Dauntless 2, which was also gifted by him. So he wanted to gift this to us and see what we can do. And let me just say, it is a very fun ship. But in this video, what we want to do is go over the customization of this ship, because it shares the same kit bash parts with the Sovereign. So we want to see what kit bash ability it has, then go over the build, weapons, space set, consoles, trades, stations, and DOS. Then head over into a Cure Advance, see how it does there, and of course giving our ECs as we go along. But this ship, of course, is from a Star Trek Prodigy, and I'm kind of like on the fence with it in terms of the lineage of the Intrepid, because this is supposed to be the Voyager A, and it's a lot bigger than the Intrepid. And then, of course, we know that the Pathfinder B from Star Trek Online is also, or the Pathfinder is also Voyager B. So it goes from an Intrepid class to a sort of bigger Dreadnought class size-wise, and then goes back to an Intrepid sort of Pathfinder. So it is what it is, though. It is a great-looking ship. The only, I don't really say gripes, just the things that I've noticed is the saucer feels like it's a little too big for the ship. I do like the swept back pylons, and of course that is a callback, and even the nacelles, both of those pieces are like Sovereign-esque. The secondary hull deflector and the body here just kind of reminds me of Vesta, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of do wish that the deflector was a little bit more sort of curved up like the Sovereign, kind of squarish, and again, it does kind of keep up with the Voyager look. I guess that's what they had to do. And it kind of almost has like almost armored look, which I kind of really do like. But like I said, first thing we're gonna do is head off to the new ESD, and we're gonna check out the options for this ship on what type of kit bash ability it has. Let's see here. Doors are open. Open by the time we get there. Yes. Let's just go in. Let's just go in. Helm was almost a little reckless. I don't think we can go any faster than that, but there you go. I believe it puts us in a different spot there, but coming onto ESD, I did this yesterday. Yeah, that's what I thought. But usually it was bringing us into the transporter pad there, but this is where we are now exiting when you go through the doors there. Anyways, let's head over to the ship Taylor, which is this way. I don't know why I was going that way. And then check out the options we have with the ship. So again, this ship shares a lot of the options for the Sovereign. So first up is the Archon. Not my favorite Sovereign variant. It just looks like a play school Star Trek ship, in my opinion. I'm sorry, but it does. Then you have the Imperial, probably the ugliest. Not gonna lie, it has some good features. Like, I do like the nacelles and that like neck armor along with the pylons, but just the secondary hull and the saucer, it just doesn't work with me. You have the Majestic, I'd say about the second ugliest one. Of course, you have the Lamarr, the Noble. This is kind of cool. I mean, when I was first looking into Star Trek Online, you kind of saw this kind of design of the ships here, and it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Of course, you have the Sovereign, and my personal favorite, the Sovereign Refit. And the only reason why I like the Sovereign Refit more is because in this model, the lines off of the saucer does not connect with the secondary hull, just like the Refit does. So it's such a minor detail, but I, for some reason, like this model better. Also has the Regent, which is the second Sea Store ship that I actually bought, and for the longest time I was flying this ship. The only gripes I have about this ship is the deflector's way too small. It's like, it just doesn't fit the ship, it seems, but it does have some really good looking lines on her, if I say so myself. And lastly, which is the visor, which is just the same thing essentially, which is a different color. Now, you can get some pretty funky looking designs out of this now when you just hit the randomizer. See, that doesn't look that bad. That doesn't look that. It feels like it's like a more armored look, to be honest with you. That doesn't look that bad. See, I like this, like I said, I like this part of that, what do you call it? The Imperial, or the Majestic or Imperial, because it feels like it's armored, which kind of makes sense. And then the nacelles aren't bad, and that actually is a pretty good looking jet bash, if I may say so. I could probably mess with that. We'll hit this a couple more times, and oh, oh, that's only a model an engineer that can love. Oh, kind of the same thing, really. Kind of like a mini sovereign there, but you captains get the point. You can really get some options out there, whether they work or not. Like this one doesn't work. That is then, oh dear Lord, that's not good. Anyways, we're gonna put it back to the Lamarr. The other configuration that I kind of like, because for me personally, I like it when the nacelles, when you look at it from the front view, are above the saucer. You don't see that here, so what we did here to get that look was essentially go with the Sovereign, and just doing that brings the nacelles above the saucer, and that changes the profile. Looks really good in my opinion. And then of course you can also go with the Sovereign nacelles, which then lengthens it and makes it almost work as well, in my opinion. So that would probably be the other configuration that I personally would go with, because then at least the saucer is as long as the nacelles. But of course we're here for the Lamarr, so we're just going to stick with that. But I thought I'd show you that, captains, because it is indeed kit bashable with Sovereign parts. So what we're going to do now, back to our ship, and then go over the build of what we did here. And let me just say, it's a fun ship for me and what I decided to do with it. And you probably, captains, already know by the thumbnail and the title of this video what we did with it, because what else would we do with it? Now, I've always said I am not a Sci-Fu captain at all. So when it comes to those type of ships that are Sci-Fu heavy, or that can be more Sci-Fu-esque, I just turn them into torpedo boats, as that's what works for me. And those are the builds that just work and that I have fun with mostly. So just head out here, this beautiful place here. Again, we're just going to be using the Lamarr here, but let's go over the build. So again, it's the Lamarr Temporal Science Dreadnought, and I named it USS Mikey's Lamarr. And again, shout out to you, Mikey. Thank you so much for gifting us. Hopefully you enjoy this build as much as I do. So what we decided to do here is more do a quantum-esque or full quantum build here with the Dauntless 2 that we did previously. Is more photon heavy. So we decided, well, why not go quantum here? So this is what we decided to do. So first up is the wide angle quantum torpedo launcher. Of course, this comes with the Sovereign or with the Regent when I bought it, so I'm going to use it. And one of my favorite torps, because it does have a 180-degree targeting arc. Next up is a quantum phase torpedo, which you can actually get from the episode Sunrise. And I kind of like it because it sounds like a shotgun in space. And we're going to continue on with using these two bad boys, the Maelstrom quantum torpedo launchers. Love them. They come off the legendary Kira. I hope somewhere down the line they come up with Maelstrom photon torpedo, and my still life would be absolutely complete. There's the four weapons, the space set, nothing too different. The deflector, the Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector from your fleet colony. SecDef is a deteriorating secondary deflector, which we just got off the exchange years ago, and we just use it when we need to slot it. For the Impulse, the prevailing innovated impulse engines from the competition rep. The Tholian nucleating warp core, which was an event prize from a couple years back, or a year back. And then lastly, the Tilly's Review pending modified shield from the Discovery rep. Now the aft weapons, this is what we did. We went with the omnidirectional Protostar Phaser Beam. Yes, because this is from Prodigy and they're using the visuals of their phasers, we have to do the same thing here. Now, what I love about the Lamarr, and I'll try to show this when we're doing the Cure Advanced mission there, is it actually fires from hard points that are from like the phaser points. The problem I have with some Omnis, most Omnis really, especially when I want to do this type of configuration, when put the Omni in the aft there on my torp boats, is they either come from the aft section of the ship or it comes from the bridge module. This doesn't do it. This ship doesn't do it. So it actually fires and looks pretty good in my opinion. Next up, the Thoron Infused Quantum Torpedo. We just got this from the Delta rep store there, and it's just a quantum looking torpedo. Nothing crazy about it. Next up, the Elite Fleet Genor Quantum Torpedo, again from the Fleet Colony, just because. And it is supposed to restore some shield, which is increased by crit severity, but shields we know doesn't really matter here. Devices, we got going on Temporal Negotiator to help with our cooldowns. Kobayashi Maru Transponder for its buff goodness. Our Torp Candy, or the plus 30% bonus projectile damage for 20 seconds, plus 5% critical severity for 5 seconds. Consoles, this is what we got going on here. We have the JDMA launch cells. Now this was from the Dauntless, so we're going to use it here because the looks of this bad boy is just absolutely amazing with this build. With the quantum spam that the first quantum spam UCAPs will see, yes, it just works for me, maybe for you. But it does give 5 max aux power plus 17.1 Starship projectile weapons training and exotic particle generation. But it is a torpedo swarm that deals AoE kinetic damage at 180 degree targeting arc, launches a huge number of small torpedoes to overwhelm enemies' defenses. 5,101.7 times 12 damage to target and nearby foes. Next up, we have the Covert Warhead Module, which is from the Terran Eagle, plus 28% projectile damage. Sets shared torpedo recharge to 1.5 if it was longer, or to 0.5 seconds if equipped on a pilot ship or that has pilot maneuvers. Of course, it doesn't. We're just using it for that 28% projectile damage. Now, we could use the cloak on this because what it does is trigger one of our traits that we'll go over. Well, it is the Assault Formation Theta. I may or may not trigger it. It's not really necessary, but it's there if I need it. Next up, the Emulating Phaser Lance, which is from the Deimos Pilot Destroyer. This was my first event prize ship that I picked when the event campaign happened, and it just works. The actual color of it matches the Protostar Phaser Beam, so it works cosmetically as well. But it gives plus 15.8% phaser damage, so it's going to help our Omni Beam. Plus 43.8 Starship Shield penetration. And it's a great ship. I actually got it. The reason why I got it, it ended up, of course, being a meta console. But I got it from my Galaxy X because the inherited lance on that thing just sucks. So I got it for that reason. And that's why I've said before, I want a lot of the universal consoles unlocked on a lot of the ships, because I would also put then the Phantom Intel Escort's lance on that. But anyways, that's another discussion in another video. Next up, the Point Defense Bombardment Warhead, of course, plus 25% projectile damage, 1% critical chance. But we are pairing it with this, the Dynamic Power Receiver. Sorry, this comes from any version of the NX, But we're pairing it with this, the DPRM, or the Dynamic Power Redistributor Module, which is from the Atlas, aka the prototype Dreadnought, which you can get for your event prize campaign, along with this ship too. Plus 11.3 all damage resistance rating, plus 90% directed energy damage to help our lonely beam there. Bonus damage resistance, and hull regen is why we're getting it, because this is the only heal I have on this ship. So for 20 seconds after the clicky, plus 40% bonus damage while above 80% hull, plus 100 bonus damage resistance rating, plus 500% hull regen. There are very, very few accounts that when we put this under elite at the board are still able to punch through the DPRM, but again, it's our only survivability, which is a staple really on my builds. Now, of course, it is a two-piece with the bombardment warhead. The two-piece actually gives us some more phaser damage, 33%. Next up, one of my favorite consoles is the opening salvo from the Titan, or Luna class. Plus 21.4 Starship Exotic Particle Generator, but Starship Weapon Specialization improves critical hit chance with weapons. But what this does is fires 4 salvos up to 5 targets, 3,000 kinetic damage, knocks target subsystems offline for 8 seconds. So essentially, I'm firing quantum torpedoes that take out the enemy shields. Yes, it definitely works on this build, 100%. Next up, the Ferrofluid Hydraulic Assembly from the Terran Rep gives us 13% max hit points, but the important thing for us here is the minus 0.5 second shared torpedo recharge time. And the console that comes with this ship is the Electromagnetic Echo Pulse. It does give 5.7% critical chance to exotic damage, 28.5% critical severity to exotic damage. We're just using it for the ship because it came with it, so we're just going to leave it. Next up is the Quantum Warhead Module. Yes, we are going to be spitting out quantums like crazy. So this comes from the Defiant, or the Valiant. The Defiant is where I got it. Plus 11.7% torpedo weapon damage, 90% targeting arc. Definitely hits hard. Next, we're going to use the Multi-Directional Artillery Barrage for plus 20% all damage with projectile weapons, plus 7.5% max hull. Multi-Directional Artillery Barrage, 360 kinetic barrage damage, scales with targets, launches warheads in all directions, dealing 11,624.6 kinetic damage to foes, plus 25% bonus damage per arc with foes, plus 10% additional bonus damage per affected foe. So this comes from the Lexington, the Terran Lexington, or Smexy Lexi as I call it. And yes, more quantum-looking spam. And to add to that, the last console is this, the Micro Quantum Torpedoes Phalanx Array, which comes from the recently released Achilles from the Heritage Bundle. It is actually pretty fun, not going to lie. Plus 10 max power to weapon subsistence for 30 seconds when entering combat, plus 20 power to weapon subsistence for 30 seconds when entering combat, 17.5% chance to recover the recharge time of all other bridge officer abilities up to their shared category cooldowns, 10% chance activating any bridge officer ability grants plus 10 to most starship skills for 15 seconds. Yes. Launches 20 torpedoes, AoE kinetic damage, stacking kinetic resistance and debuff, plus 242.5% turn rate, along with the flight speed for 8 seconds. Launches 10 targeted micro quantum torpedoes at your selected target. Launches 10 seeking micro quantum torpedoes. Each deals 35,606.5 kinetic damage. Each reduces kinetic damage resistance rating by 10 for 25 seconds. Stacks 10 times. Area of effect 1 click. That's a lot, and this build is meant to be a lot as well. A lot of quantum. So there's that. Now, this does come with a hanger. And we're using whatever came with it, which is the Nova Fighter Squadron. As you can see there, the weapons are phaser dual cannons, turrets, beam arrays, and photon torpedoes. The abilities that it comes with: beam overload 1, torpedo spread 1, and avoidance RO1. It's just a passive, so launches a wing of 3 Nova fighter squadron. Each hangar supports 2 deployed wings at any given time. When you launch hangar pets for 10 seconds, your weapons deal an additional 222.4 fire damage per volley, just cause. Your weapons gain 2.5% chance, 25.3 fire damage per second. I don't know why, but sure, if anyone can tell me why there's a fire with the Nova, let me know, other than the name Nova. I don't know. As for the look of these things, I really don't like them. Not gonna lie. They do the floaty animation that I really don't like. They kind of look like spiders in space. There's a good look at one there. It feels like they're ships that you should see in like another IP, another franchise, like Star Wars. But that's them right there. And they don't, sure, they don't feel like they fit, but it does come with ships, so we're going to use them because why not? Now this also comes with this. It's called the Infinity Courier. So launch the Infinity Support Courier. Experimental courier with temporal abilities for 60 seconds. Only one can be launched at a time. And it's a big ship. And again, it's another ship that feels like it doesn't fit in the Star Trek universe. At least for me. That's just me. I mean, it's a good-looking ship. But yeah, it has that. So we're going to be toggling that to help us during our P's there. So for stat-wise, this does give us crit chance of 33.6% and a crit severity of 135%. Now, captains, keep in mind I do have my Pendevers helping me. I'm ranked to 600. I can go to 750 if I wanted to, but we were doing fine before the level cap and we're doing fine now. I kind of do this to show, hey, you know what? You really don't need to kill yourself in trying to get your Pendevers maxed out because you'll still do fine. And like I said, as long as you synergize your build and you get to the content that you play, it should be fine. And as you can tell as well, Caps, we did not T6X2 the ship because we always want to see how it does off the bat out of the box. So there's that. Skill-wise, we have not changed this, nor do we plan on changing it. Ever. You see we have 8 spent in engineering, 10 spent in Psi, and 28 spent in tactical. Traits. Now, as of this video, there was issues with the traits with the unlock of, or with the new ESD update. And when we recorded the Dauntless video, the traits were definitely gone. But when I went back to this Lamarr and switched to the ship, all my traits were in place. The only one that was missing was the Assault Formation Theta. Everything else stayed. So just throwing that out there. Again, this is the time of this video when we recorded it there when ESD released there. But our personal space traits, so what we got going on: unconventional systems, intelligent agent attaché, the Boimler effect, a good day to die, adaptive offense, into the breach, kinetic precision, self-modulating fire, superior projectile training, and inspirational leader. Starship traits is what we did. Entwine tactical matrices for our back-to-back torp spreads. Universal designs. The ruin of our enemies. Subspatial warheads. And of course, Assault Formation Theta. When we hit Attack Pattern Omega 3, we get a high yield, and we still get the benefits of Attack Pattern Omega 3, which is one of my favorite attack patterns because, well, Captain Sisko. Space Rep is what we got going on. We have the Advanced Targeting Systems, Omega Kinetic Shearing, Precision, Torpedo Pre-Fire Sequence, and Tyler's Duality. Now for our stations, left, right, top to bottom. Chemosite Laced Weaponry, Distributed Targeting. And we have Dr. Crusher here because with an activation of her Psi team there, we get a high yield 1. So potentially we're going to be getting two back-to-back. No, we can get two back-to-back high yield 1 and a 3 when we do our opening salvo there, and it's a beautiful sight, not gonna lie. Next up, we have beam fire at will and torpedo spread 2, and of course attack pattern omega 1. Emergency power to engines, emit unstable warp bubble, eject warp plasma, structural analysis, Heisenberg amplifier, delayed overload cascade because we like the big booms, and recursive shearing 3 to stop hitting yourself power. Now we go to our dupes. We'll go to our doofs. We have the 2 on ground helping us in space, Neil Falconer. It says increased damage versus the board ground, but it does also help in space. Elder Milikatan, increased damage versus all. And this is what we did with our DOFs, which is not too different from what we did on the Dauntless. Emergency Con Holographic Officer recharges evasive maneuvers when we use emergency powered engines. 3 projectile officers, 1 giving us a chance to reduce the time to recharge our torpedoes, and 2 of them give us a chance for stacking crit severity when we fire torpedoes or fire projectiles. Delirine, increased damage versus the Borg, and 38 of 47, which gives us reduced other bridge officer ability cooldowns after using one particularly command. But we're just using it because, well, why not? Well, actually, we'll just leave it, whatever. We'll just leave it. That's fine. It's not a command ship, but whatever. Again, captains, please keep in mind, anything that we share here on the bridge when it comes to builds is we're sharing what we do because we have fun. And that's the most important thing for us. So what we'll do now is go into a Cure Advance. We will head over to the left docking station, clear that out, and then head over to the right. While we do so, clear out the ships heading towards the Kang, take out the right side, take out the middle, and then finish off the TFO. Hopefully without death. We'll see how this goes. Cure here. This is my usual testing grounds. And here we go. And it's I will say it's a fun ship. I would say between the two, performance-wise, obviously the Dauntless leans more heavily, but to my playstyle, but the Lamarr does quite well because she's definitely the smexier ship. Definitely. So again, we're gonna head over to the left side here. We'll launch that. Head over here. Check this out. Look at that. Come on now. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And again, look, if you look at the beams, Caps, they actually come out in different points, which I love it. I absolutely do love that. Okay, we're gonna head over here, just make sure we take them out evenly. Quantum Maelstroms, whew. Probably my favorite sounding ones, definitely. So we have that case, so we're gonna clear this now. Use our buffs here. More quantum span there. There goes that. Take out that lovely sphere trying to take us out. You can see my fighters trying to help out there. We'll fire some of our aft torpedoes, because why not? Stubborn Raptor here. There you go. Now we'll take out these spheres here. Take those out too. The Raptor's heading towards the Kang, so we gotta take them out. Might as well use opening salvo, take their shields down. We have the effective bows there with our multi-barrage there. Quantum salvos. As you can see, I'm trying to manage my buffs, to be honest, just because we want to make sure that we have enough for the third docking station there. Okay, we'll take out these neg bars now too. You see there our subspatial warheads. This has been a pain here. Try to get rid of it. There you go. I think we have to just go back there and clear that out for a bit, but we will. But yeah, I like how the Omni hard points are on this ship look really good in my opinion. So before we head over the middle there, we'll just clear this. There is a raptor here. Quantum salvo. Yeah, you're done. You're done. All right, now we can head over to the middle there. We do so. We'll make sure we buff up. Use our support carrier here. Woo! You can't come on. Like, look at it. That's crazy. The quantum spam is so real. I love it. Have some aft torpedoes fired, because why not? And there you go. Everything cleared. She still did pretty well. Now let's tell the king to get out of here. Yeah, get out of here. We got this, we got this. So let's load up here. Launch some fighters. We're going to use our opening salvo too as well. And beam overload ones going off, I love it. Those out. These final ones out too as well. Oh yeah, you're done. You're done. You're done. Yes, you're done. And there you go. Again, I know it's more Saifu heavy, but I am not a Saifu captain, as I mentioned. And as long as you synergize it, it should work fine. As I can see, it's fine. I think I got this up to about 500k, 400 to 500k in terms of its performance DPS wise. And that's good enough, to be honest with you. Especially in the group setting when we are with our fellow captains there. She does pretty well in my opinion regardless. And it's a pretty fun ship. And I'm glad I have her, as she's a part of the fleet. So again, to Admiral Mikey, DAIMON and TARR, thank you so much for gifting us a ship. Sorry, we were just taking selfies. Captains, if you don't know what that is, those are ship selfies. Can't help it, because this is one of my favorite places to do so, because of just the lighting here. But let's head out, and then give our final 2 ECs on the Lamarr. But performance-wise, it does fine for us. And this, again, is a ship that you can get for your event prize there, because it is part of the ships there of the list already. So if you go to your event campaign prize tab there, reward info, it definitely is there. Oh wait, no, sorry. This is actually going to be, yeah, Protostar right there. No, that's a Protostar, sorry. This is gonna be in next year's is what I meant. Sorry, the Protostar is in, and the Dauntless is in the actual 2024, but this ship, sorry, the Lamarr, I misspoke. This ship will be in next year's event prize of 2025. But regardless, I do recommend it. It is a great ship in terms of performance. You're probably captains out there that can do a lot better with it. But for us, we're just happy that it's part of the fleet. And again, to Admiral Mikey, thank you so much for gifting us the ship. We appreciate you. and the support that you give us on this channel. So with that said, that is the video. Do us a favor, hit the like button, comment below, let us know if this will be a ship that you'll be picking up. And of course, if you're new here, consider subscribing to the YouTube Bridge, and we'll leave it on this note.
Live long and prosper.